The second presentation is about the determinants of digital entrepreneurship by informal MSEs in Egypt. And we have Dr. Rania Miniesy and Dr. Mahitab and Professor Hadia. Over to you.
Okay, today I'll be presenting the determinants of digital entrepreneurship by informal MSEs in Egypt. We're going to start with the background, research aims, presenting the framework and hypotheses, methodology, findings, contributions, and conclusion. First of all, digital entrepreneurship is becoming an essential trait in new venture creation. It has been defined as the reconciliation of traditional entrepreneurship with a new way of creating and doing business in the digital era. In other words, because of the spread of the World Wide Web, the social media, and mobile technology, opportunities are now open for entrepreneurs to engage in the sharing of knowledge, information, data, and even physical goods. This provides researchers with an incentive to understand the conditions and the challenges facing or hindering this digital transformation. In other words, what exactly drives digital entrepreneurship? The concept of digital entrepreneurship has only been tackled by a few researchers. However, it is gaining increasing attention among scholars because it transforms how entrepreneurship can create new sources of value and wealth. And also it enables new venture creation, which positively impacts job opportunities and economic growth of any country. Now, in the context of Egypt, small-scale entrepreneurs are considered the key drivers for economic growth, in which these firms play a fundamental role in supporting the economy. By taking a closer look at the Egyptian market, we find out that it is dominated by micro-enterprises, most of which operate in the informal sector. Now, recently, Egyptians' mindset have been changing and they're more open to the idea of opening up their own business. Social media, of course, became a promising platform for many women and youth to adopt digital entrepreneurship. Regardless of the popularity of online businesses, country-specific research that studies the entrepreneur's behavior, attitude, activity outcome, and the e-commerce adoption in general is still scarce. Thus, the aim of this research is to examine the determinants of engaging in digital entrepreneurship with a focus on women and youth male entrepreneurs who are owners of informal MSEs in Egypt. It tests whether the entrepreneur's characteristics, attitudes, goals, and the innovation attributes of social media have resulted in digital entrepreneurship adoption. Now I'll present to you our framework. The independent variables include the owner's characteristic, that is education, self-esteem, self-confidence, and so on, and the desire to achieve goals, where goals reflect certain attitudes, such as escaping boredom, lack of good job opportunities, and as you can see in the figure. These variables were adopted based on the theory of planned behavior, as it studies attitudes to determine intentions and actions. Building on the theory of diffusion of innovation, we have also chosen certain characteristics and integrated them into the research framework. Therefore, this study combines the theory of planned behavior, the owner's characteristics, and the theory of diffusion of innovation to examine the determinants that have a significant effect on digital entrepreneurship by women and youth MSE owners in Egypt. We study the following hypotheses: whether the personal characteristics of entrepreneurs, attitudes and goals, perceived relative advantages and benefits, trialability and observability of social media significantly affect the digital entrepreneurship adoption. Data were collected using a self-assessment questionnaire through phone interviews with Egyptian women and youth entrepreneurs who own informal MSEs. MSEs that have been operating online for at least 1 year have been selected, and a professional firm conducted the interviews to guarantee the efficiency of the data collection process. The survey was conducted before COVID-19 outbreak, and the total sample consisted of 408 observations. Data were analyzed using SPSS version 20, where stepwise multiple regression is applied to categorize the independent variables according to their significant effect on the dependent variable. The coefficients of convex alpha ranged from 0.68 to 0.92, indicating good reliability of the questions. Moreover, the inter-item correlation for all items is greater than 0.5, which supports the questionnaires' intrinsic validity. For the included variables, self-confidence has a negative and significant effect on digital entrepreneurship. Now, this contradicts with previous literature. However, it is justifiable because social media encourages individuals with low self-confidence to have the courage and the motivation to become digital entrepreneurs. This, of course, expands the opportunities for job creation and income generation at the same time. By contrast, minimizing direct cost, self-actualization, making money, and connectivity positively and significantly affect digital entrepreneurship. This agrees with previous literature that proposes that goals and attitudes do have a positive and significant effect. All other independent variables are insignificant and control variables as well. Now, looking at the hypotheses, the previously presented hypotheses, H1 is partially supported, as not all the characteristics have a significant effect on digital adoption, only the self-confidence. H2 is also partially supported, as only seeking money, making more money, connectivity, and self-actualization have a significant effect on digital entrepreneurship adoption. Same for H3, only reducing direct costs have a significant effect. Both H4 and H5 are not supported. Contribution of this research. Overall, this research contributes to knowledge about digital entrepreneurship on many levels. From a theoretical point of view, it highlights the personal characteristics differentiating entrepreneurs from other groups. Practically, it identifies the internal and external determinants of digital entrepreneurship. The internal ones include the entrepreneur's characteristics and attitudes, and the external ones include the self-perceived benefits in the external environment. Now, policymakers should target the second group of individuals who aim to minimize direct costs and improve performance. They need to be provided with the appropriate training and capacity building to effectively pursue digital entrepreneurship. Other players such as schools, universities, and NGOs, of course, can have a supporting role. Now, to conclude this research, digital technology can provide many benefits to entrepreneurs, such as faster communication. Digital entrepreneurship also facilitates exploring entrepreneurial opportunities, especially for women and youth in Egypt. This is similar to other observations in the other countries in the MENA region. This entrepreneurial action has led to the creation and expansion of digital economies and the formation of communities of youth and women that would otherwise have no employment. Many countries in the MENA region have become flourishing hubs for commercial innovation and entrepreneurship, where the Arab region is currently creating the necessary economic ecosystem to support entrepreneurship to thrive and develop. Lastly, we have the recommendations for future research, that is to examine the relationship between the factors of entrepreneurship and the intention to formalize the business. Since in Egypt, we have many initiatives and by the government to support entrepreneurship in terms of training and capacity building, future research may also evaluate these efforts and examine the factors that play a significant role. It would also be interesting to compare the results with ones conducted in a developed country. Thank you very much for listening, and I'm open to questions.
Thank you very much, Dr. Shahin, for that elaborate presentation that you've done within the time limit that was allocated to you. Thank you very much.
So please remember, if we all help and do a little bit, it will make a big difference.